In this video, we are going to talk about navigating the effective and engaging online teaching course. The page is set up so that certain things are visible and certain things are hidden until various activities are complete. One of the first things you should do is click on the hamburger in the upper left and hide that frame. If you ever wish to have the frame back, you can always click the hamburger and bring the frame back so that you can use it for navigation through the contents that you can see. However, hiding it makes the page wider and easier to read. We utilize completion tracking, as you can see in these red boxes. They're not normally red. I made them red so they stand out in the video. If you see dotted boxes, those are associated with activities that require you to do something or meet a certain condition in order for that box to be automatically checked. There are other boxes that you can self-check. When we're looking at the activities on a page, you might see a variety of different icons, and you have a lot of options for what you might do. For example, we have an embedded video. We can tell it's an embedded video because we see the video icon on the left. When we click on the video will appear. Sometimes that will pop back open. And if you wish to play the video, you can click the play button. At the top of the page, you can see that you're still inside of Moodle. You know you're inside of Moodle because you still have the name of your course, or the short name, the section that you're in, and the title of the activity. When you want to return to the course section, you can click up here at the top, and again, from left to right, home takes you back to the general spot. That's the short course of the short name of the course, and that's the name of the section, and that's the name of the activity. We're going to click on the section. Other activities that you see are books. A Moodle book is intended to contain a substantial amount of content that you would organize in chapters and subchapters. They can include text, audio, video, and embedded Google Docs. We've incorporated a little bit of extra HTML for easier navigation, although not all devices are going to display that extra HTML. The best way to navigate through a Moodle book is through the table of contents. The table of contents usually appears on the right, and you can click through the different chapters and read them and see what's there. We can go back to our main page because we're still inside of Moodle. And here I'm going back to the section, General Course Information. Now that we're back on the main course page, I can scroll and see new activities that might have opened up because I've completed others. One of the activities that we utilize is the Moodle page. A Moodle page should only contain content that would fit on a standard 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper. It's not intended to hold a substantial amount of content like a book. Each of our sections starts with an About module. Here we see the activities that are going to be in the lesson, how they will be delivered, and their alignment to the learning outcomes for the course. And again, we're inside Moodle, so we can click those links at the top to return to the section. Underneath the book is a Moodle. Underneath the page is a Moodle book with some embedded audio. If you see the audio player, you can click the play button and hear a message from one of your facilitators. If you don't see the audio player, the text will appear instead. Not all browsers or devices will support the audio player. You will find audio interspersed throughout the course that will appear and hide at different times. Down at the bottom here of this book, you see buttons that we created. They are not standard issue Moodle. It will help you navigate through a particular book, especially the longer ones. But as always, you can use the table of contents on the right. Now, this particular book has some embedded content in one of the chapters. In particular, it has an embedded Google slideshow. It will not show for everyone. It may appear blank, and it may not appear at all. It's going to depend on your browser, the strength of your Wi-Fi access, and you will always have alternative access to that content. You can see here that we have a link out to a Google Slide presentation. It's an italicized text, which we try to be consistent with to indicate that we have a link, either into some other part of the course or outside of the course. In this case, when I click the link, I'm taken out of the Moodle course into a new window or tab so that I can access the slideshow. I can navigate through the slideshow like I normally would, either using my mouse to scroll around or using the navigation bar. Because I am in another window, I need to make sure that I know how to get back to my page. Now, I use tabs. You might use windows. Go back to the window containing your course page. We will also provide options to download a PDF. There will be a link to do so. Those PDFs are hidden secret ingredients within our course. When you click download the PDF, that action will happen pretty instantaneously. How fast it downloads is going to depend on the length of the slideshow and the browser itself. Now, if you don't want to click on the slideshow and exit out of the course, or you don't want to download the PDF, or you just want to read, you will always have the opportunity to access the content in yet another way. And that is to scroll. All of the content is below the fold. Everything that's in the slideshow is available to you below. So there's a lot of duplication here, but hopefully one of those methods will be good for you. There are ways to get help, either through the Salem College Libraries, live one-on-one Google Meets with SETI. Here's linking out to the Salem College Libraries online teaching resources. It's taking a few minutes to load. And here you can access the LibGuide that the librarians created for us. There are a lot of links to outside resources. Of course, we did link out of the page, so we're in a new tab. So we got to go back. We're still in the book. Maybe we want to get out of the book and go back to this section. So let's look at some of these icons. These icons indicate an activity. It's something you need to do. Either type in some text, upload a file, perhaps both, or perhaps neither, because it could be a placeholder for a grade, for an offline activity. See the hand and the piece of paper indicating that it's something to hand in or submit. You will often see a submit button or a save button or a save as button, one of those three, when you are completing an activity. Now, some of these require certain conditions to be met. Dotted lines around the checkbox for the activity completion. Some of them, you're on your honor. Now, in this case, it's already been completed, so I'm going to shut that checkbox off so you can see how to manually indicate that you've completed an activity. So if I've completed my Moodle profile, it's easy for the facilitators to check. I can go ahead and self-check that box. And when I do, anything that's based on completion of that activity will open up for me. In order to foster engagement and to foster collaboration, we have multiple forums throughout this course. The forum icon looks like two cartoon balloons. There are a variety of different ways to build forums, which you will be asked to do at some point in this course. And let's take a look at one of them. This is a forum with a pretty long prompt, but that prompt comes from an activity that was just completed. As a participant, you have the opportunity to add a new discussion topic to this forum. You can always scroll down and look at other people's posts. Sometimes other people's posts will be hidden until you add your own discussion topic. To read somebody else's post, you can click. You can reply. And then occasionally, you want to go back after you've read a few and post your own. Now you of course can go back to the section. You can click there to go back to the main activity page, or you can choose the back button. It's your friend. When you're ready to add a discussion topic, you click on Add a Discussion Topic. A window will open up. You'll type in the subject. You can use your Addo editor to type in stuff, embed stuff, post a forum, and you're good to go. The next activity that we'll see is a lesson activity. This has a flowchart icon. Lesson activities are similar to book activities, except you can also embed questions. You have a great deal of control how students are able to navigate through a lesson, which makes them somewhat cumbersome to create. They do have automatically generated buttons, which makes them easier than what we saw with the books. So to recap, a lesson, a book, a page, an embedded video, and of course you can always find help from any one of your facilitators or self-help through the LibGuide by returning to the syllabus or signing up for an appointment. Note where this is located in your course syllabus. I'm returning back to the main page. And you can scroll around, see the secret ingredients information that we've posted there to explain that some things are hidden. I wouldn't normally share the secret ingredients part with my students, but I wanted you guys to know that it was available. Always check the module descriptions to see what activities are coming up. Now this is how the page looks to me. Paula, the builder. It's a lot less clean. And all those blue things are indicating to me what the completion conditions are, what the restriction conditions are, etc. You'll eventually see everything on here, but it won't look like this. It'll be neat and clean. Again, the left-hand navigation frame goes through the table of contents, but it will only show sections that are visible to you based on completion criteria. I hope you will contact us if you need help, and I hope you do enjoy the course, and I hope it benefits your teaching in the future.